Endorsed him a year ago. You are now running against him. What issues developed that led you to the decision that new leadership was needed?
Hey, thank you. One, I would say that I was asked to run. I was actually approached. I was approached by some judges. I was approached by members of law enforcement. I was approached by members of the business community. I was approached by law enforcement and my peers. And they looked at both options here before you, and quite frankly, they couldn't support either one. And so they came to me and really asked me to step up and show some leadership. And that's what I'm doing here. Running against your boss from inside the office is a very uniquely difficult thing. Mr. Lin is still my boss. He has significant impact on my daily life and what happens to me in the office. And so that was also a factor for me as well. And I have to say, when I was asked by my peers to step up here and actually step out and try to make a change in the office, it was something that was pretty massive for me, and I was a little hesitant. But looking here and being in the office, a change is needed and leadership is needed, and that's what I represent. I will also say, financially, it was a consideration for me as well. I'm almost 100% self-financed. Being able to finance and run a viable campaign was another issue for me that I looked at. Can I do this? Can I actually get out here and meet the number of people that I need to meet? Can I reach across the county here and actually get people to vote for me? And that takes money. I've spent $48,000 of my own personal money through my family on this campaign. So I looked at all these factors, and at the end of the day, this is a broken office, folks. People here deserve a lot better. To the extent that folks can support me, I'm willing to make that change and take that leadership challenge. And if you elect me, I will absolutely get up every day. I will come to work. I will work hard for folks, and I will do all I can to make this an office folks in this county are proud of. Thank you.
Sally?
I announced that I was running for this office more than a year ago, in March. I left the office some 2.5 years ago because I was unable to work in the office the way it was. And when I left, I was going for backup. I come from law enforcement and the military, and I knew what was going on in the office. I went to Fresno, and I've got some amazing training and some amazing experience. And I look at Mr. Hornick, and I'm glad to hear him say that he thinks it's daunting. Because honestly, he seems like a very fine young man. I didn't meet him until after he'd announced he was going to run. And to run for this office with 2 years as a lawyer in the state of California practicing criminal law, he should be concerned. Again, he announced after everything broke about Mr. Lin, and it became public knowledge that the office was in a shambles. I knew the office was in a shambles, and I announced because I was coming back here. Madera's my home, and his phrase that he started with, he's a very nice young man. Everything I do, he copies, and I just call that flattery. On my website, I've said, Madera deserves better. And I knew it when I left, and I came back. Madera does deserve better. Madera deserves a career prosecutor who will focus on violent criminals, who understands California criminal law and has practiced it on and off for over 20 years. Thank you.
David, do you have a response?
Yes, I will. The last 3.5 years in the Madera County District Attorney's Office, in my opinion, have been the most successful in the history of that office. Let's talk a little bit about DUIs. We lost the grant because we were cycled out of the grant. It was a state thing, which neither of these two individuals understand because they have never been in management of a department within a county. We were cycled out of that grant. Even with that occurring, Mr. Levy has now become one of the best DUI prosecutors in the state of California. He has had a series of victories, and to the point where as recently as 7 days ago, we had a plea on a double fatality that will put the individual in state prison. They were so concerned because our record has been so stellar on drunk drivings, and we have obtained so many drunk driving convictions that they didn't want to go to trial. So we worked out a deal. The individual's going to spend a lot of time in state prison. Let's talk about that in this office that is in shambles. Madera County sends more people to state prison percentage-wise than any other county in the state of California. Paul doesn't do that. Sally didn't do that. We're doing that right now. We have run 10 major trials in a row. We have a fine group of young attorneys. And let me finish the job because we're going the right way. Thank you. I see the stuff.